Welcome back to Tigers Walk. Happy New Year to you. Hope you are well. We're going to talk about that Leeds game. Does Pandor need a rest? And Abu Kamara is all forgiven. Welcome back. We got Jack, Matty, and Ben with us on 20 minutes of Hull City chat. Thank you very much. If you've already subscribed, if you haven't yet done so, press the button down below. It's the quickest growing Hull City content on the internet. We'll talk about Pandur in a minute, Abu Kamara, and of course we're previewing the FA Cup. Could these Hull fans give two hoots about it this year? And what the top three players of our team here decided are the three main targets for the January window. Let's jump straight into it then. Jack, you enjoy that Leeds game?
It's incredible. I mean, I don't think I've seen that this season where we come back, especially against a top team like Leeds United. I mean, it was just good. I mean, it was just funny just to see the Leeds fans with the frowns on their faces and giving it large in the away end, and when just saying it's 3-1 in your cup final and everything, and then suddenly just all comes crashing down on them, and then just flood out the stadium. I think they kind of booed the players really, and they got a bit annoyed, especially at half time as well, which just shows that they're not really fans, are they, of the club? We are though, to be honest. But yeah, it's just good to get some revenge on Scum United.
We talked before, Matty, about MKM not having the atmosphere as it had before, but that was rocking. That was like old times, wasn't it, that game?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. I'm still losing a bit, lost my voice a little bit from the cheering, but yeah, it was great to hear. It was great to hear, and as Jack said, it was just nice just to kind of put one up on Leeds, especially after all the gloating that they went through, halfway through the match. So yeah, no, it was rocking. And to be fair, there've been a couple of games where it's been like that, where we like Swansea game. At the end of the Swansea game, it was the same. Middlesbrough, we kind of got behind them. So, Ruben Sellers is bringing back the good times, and this is what we wanted, isn't it? This is what we wanted. Entertaining football. That might be our highlight of the year, but there you go. Get it over and done with first week.
It definitely feels a different Hull side to the one I watched against Millwall, although many months ago. Ben, what's he done differently? What's he done, Sellers, to sort this out? Then,
I think I know we've lost a couple, but I think we're a lot harder to beat. Even in the losses that we've had, it's been tight. I think he's done really well to like shore up the defense, because that was where we were so open under Tim Walter. It was just like almost every attack was a chance or a goal. It was just like free flowing, but he's done really well to just sort of solidify that and then also build on the attacking, which has been a lot better as well.
If we have a look at the fixtures, how do you sum up your Christmas, Jack? The last time we spoke to you was before that Preston game where you came unstuck. Then you carried on in Lancashire and went to Blackburn and got a result there, which no one foresee coming at all. At least you bust my coupon that day. Then a tough game against Borough, which you nearly came out with a point, and then a draw against Leeds. So a mixed bag of results. But in terms of performances, Jack, you've been impressed?
I mean, slightly impressed. I mean, there's improvements in every one of those games, maybe barring Preston off end, but again, we all have those games. But Blackburn was a bit dour in the first hour of the game, and suddenly a spark was lit, and we came out of our shell, and we could have gone 2-3-0. At Middlesbrough we held on with last ditch defending. It was a good backline work, and I don't think we could have won that game. Did we have a shot on? Was it the game where we didn't have a shot on target against Borough? Yeah. And then Leeds United was just an incredible game, and it just shows that we have a few new faces in our team. The transfer window, we can excel, and we can be much better than what we was with Walter. So yeah, it's improvements, and it's a prosperous thing for us at the moment, and we just need to keep hoping.
Okay, let's talk about Pandur for a second, then, shall we? Matty, there's some tweets that are saying he just needs a rest. He's made a few errors in games. Some people saying he's dropping completely for a bit. We've never criticised him on here, and I'm not going about to start doing so. But can you understand where these calls are coming from?
I don't, to be honest. No, I'm totally honest. I mean, I think he's probably been our most consistent player over the season. I think Saturday, the second goal. I know he gave away the third goal, but the second goal again, he was trying to rush it and play out, which again he has been caught. He has, kind of cost us a little bit on that. He should have just took his time. The last one was a mistake, but if you look over the season, how many times has he actually saved us, kept us in games? I don't really see that myself. And it looks like we're going to get. Richoppy wasn't on the bench on Saturday, so it looks like he's potentially going. Does that mean that Rushworth will come back in? I mean, I think there's some calls for him to come back, for him to get a start, but unfounded reports to me. I think Pandor's been excellent this season, and it kind of makes you think if we actually had him in last season, we'd have probably got on the playoffs because he's miles better. Then who did we have? Sorry,
was it Ingram for the last? No, not Ingram. It was
Allsop.
Allsop. Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Memory blank. I'm getting old, but he's miles better than Allsop. He's a better shot stopper. He's better distribution. So I think those reports for me are unjustified. Keep him in the team, and you know what? For the when it was 3-2, he actually came out and headed the ball. I don't know if you saw it. He came out and he was off his line. The ball just hit him in the face from Peru. So no, he's kept us in the game there. It could have been 4-2. It would have been all over them, wouldn't it? So uncalled for me. Keep him in. He's done nothing wrong.
Okay. Ben, I want to get you a view on something else which has attracted attention of fans over the Christmas period. Following the game against Middlesbrough, Abu Kamara commented on Instagram with a love heart on the Portsmouth win against Swansea, of course, your relegation rivals, calling for, well, we can see Bill's comments here, plus a lot of other Hull fans saying, get rid, not fit to wear the shirt, disgraceful attitude, blah, 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 blah. Of course, then the football fate writers allowed to pop up with 2 goals on Sunday. First of all, were you annoyed yourself? Can you see why Hull fans were coming out with such anger? And is it all done and dusted now?
Personally, I think I was more annoyed at the way he tracked back for the goal that Middlesbrough scored. I think quite a few other fans were almost in the same boat. The Instagram comment it's a bit petty the way that City have gone about it. I can kind of see why, because obviously Portsmouth are down there with us, and it was like instantly after a loss in the 93rd minute. So I can kind of understand it, but I don't think we needed to have him out on an interrogation the next day in the press office. But yeah, I mean, I think he's proved us all wrong. He just needs to do it consistently. And as long as he does that, then I think all will be forgiven. But he had a very good game. Don't get me wrong. I think he just needs to be consistent, because other than that game, he hasn't really done a massive amount to prove his worth. But I think he does definitely have the potential. So fingers crossed he can be consistent, because all the Portsmouth fans that were giving it to us on the weekend about that press conference were sort of like, he's started scoring, so he won't stop for you now. But yeah, I just hope he's consistent, because I think there is a real player in there, and there's potential.
I think sorry, Matt. I think I agree with what Ben said. I think we're more up in arms the fact that he didn't track back against Middlesbrough when it came down his side, and that for me really annoyed me. But great. I didn't think he needed to do it, but I think it was great management by Ruben Sellers. He came out, he fronted up, he said, mental health and all these other things, and he came out and he took responsibility for it, and he proved us all wrong. So good luck to the lad. So yeah, well done to him and Sellers.
Jack, the sports psychologist will have a field day exploring what happened next after that, because again, as Ben highlighted, Sellers is then 24 hours later in interview situation where he's got the lad next to him, making him come out and explain a social media tweet. I mean, I've never seen that happen before, but the psychologists will look into it and say, well, actually, that must have worked, because the next 2 days later, he's banged 2 in against the top side in the league. What was your view on how the club handled it?
Well, I think they handled it pragmatically and intelligently. It was good from them. It was I'm trying to get the word out here, but I can't get it. Anyway, but yeah, it was well done by them. I mean, Kamara has been an enigma this season. He's been one of those players who's not going to be. We don't know, but now I think that those 2 goals were just a bit of stick to the fans to say that, look, you got it wrong. I'm here. I'm actually wanting to play. He's a confidence player, as I've heard. It's just goals and goals that he needs, and he'll be bouncing. But anyway, I think that the fan base was enjoying him when in that game against Leeds, when they're shouting, "Kamara runs down the wing for me." So I don't think it was overly that annoyed. I think it was just some keyboard warriors on Twitter who were just a bit annoyed by what he said on social media, which was uncalled for, really, because you can say the same about Noah Ohio last season with Jude Bellingham. Doesn't really mean that Noah Ohio wants to go to Real Madrid. It's just friends, and they can reflect. It's allowed. So we just need to take a chill pill, and now he's back on our side, and we need to go and keep him with us.
Okay. Well said, all of you. Right, let's move on. And how much do any of you know about Doncaster then?
I've been to the station. I've done a 10k run around there. That's about it.
I did. Yeah, I did used to work in Doncaster many moons ago, and yeah, I got out as quickly as I could.
We got beat 4-0 by them in a friendly as well, which I saw, which is dreadful.
The only thing that they keep over us is when they got promoted from the bottom division, they finished champions and we finished second. It's just like, yeah, but you're whatever. So I'm sure that'll be mentioned in the run up.
I'm sure it will. They're bringing a fair number, of course, as well, aren't they? To this. Well, let's talk about the FA Cup then. In general, let's have a look at how Hull have done, of course, since the final against Arsenal. It was 11 years ago now. Does it feel like 11 years ago, Matty, that game for you?
God, it was a long time ago, wasn't it? Yeah. What could have been?
Could have been. Yeah. Why haven't Hull won the FA Cup yet, Matty?
I just don't think I think you've got to be in the Premier League, haven't you? We just haven't been in the Premier League enough. That year we were lucky. We got a really fortunate run, I think, and we got to the final, which is fair enough. And maybe if Cazorla hadn't scored that goal before half time, and I think Paul McShane, Alex Bruce went off as well just before half time, and I think if he'd have stayed on, would have been in for a chance. I just think it's down to that. I think we're not in the Premier League enough to compete with and have the players to do it. So yeah, it's always. I think that's probably our best ever run. And definitely getting to the semi-final. Can't remember much apart from that. Is getting that deep into the competition, to be honest.
Yeah, then you've run into Arsenal a few times, Ben, haven't you, in this competition? But what about more recently? I mean, if you look back, third round last year against Birmingham, knocked out. Third round before that, Fulham. Third round Everton. Second round Stevenage. In the COVID years. Why haven't Hull done better?
I don't think we really prioritise it too often, to be honest. I mean, the one where it's against Stevenage, you could say is probably the weakest out of a lot of the most recent times we've been knocked out. And that year we were obviously pushing for League One title to get back into the Championship. So I suppose you could use that as a reason, but I just don't think we really prioritise it that much. And when we go out, none of the fans really seem to be that bothered, because usually when we do, other than the final year, we don't really get that far. So I just don't think we ever seem to focus on it. It would be nice to have a cup run. Don't get me wrong, I would love it if we could go far, but I just don't know if it's ever really the biggest priority, to be honest.
Okay, right, we're going to manifest it this year then. Hull City for the FA Cup. starting with Doncaster. Is the magic gone for you, Jack? I know you're a young fan in comparison to all the people in this room, but even for you, is it? I was talking about myself. I was talking about myself. Even for you, have you noticed in years that have gone by how the cup has meant less and less each year to fans?
Yeah, I also think the timings of the games and things like that are just poor as well. Like Sunday, I think Matty said before when it was announced about Sunday league games and stuff like, no one's going to be able to get to it. But yeah, I think it's just lost its sting, the FA Cup, over the years. I mean, I've personally never been interested in it. I'm more like league over FA Cup, due mainly because we never really progressed from the first round. But yeah, again, anything could happen in the FA Cup. I mean, we lost to Doncaster last year. I mean, it could happen again. But yeah, I'm not really fussed about the FA Cup. If we win, we win. It's when we get to the latter stages, it gets a bit better. And I always wait for a big team in the first round, and it never comes. So it's just always a big disappointment. So yeah, for that reasons, I never had an interest in the FA Cup.
Okay. So Ben, if I could guarantee you now either 21st spot in the Championship or the FA Cup final, what would you take?
I don't know how we do in Europe in the Championship. It's a strange one because I can't remember the last time. I think someone has done it before when they've been. Was it Wigan when they won the FA Cup?
Millwall went to Europe as well when they went.
I think I'd probably at this current moment I'd rather stay in survival in the Championship.
Okay, Matty, a day out at Wembley.
I'll be there, done that, Mark. We don't need to do it again. We're been there and we've won it. Well, we've won at Wembley enough times. I'd rather stay up. Absolutely. I think there are benefits to it. I think you can go on a decent run, can't you, and kind of forget about your league, and it kind of has an impact on your league running. But I think you only have to look at like Coventry last year. They were in with a chance of getting in the playoffs, weren't they? And I think that kind of the FA Cup distracted them a little bit, and then they ended up falling away. So that's what we don't need. We don't need that. We don't need a distraction. Maybe get through this round, get a decent home time next round, big payday. Would be happy with that, I think. Well, I would be. So.
All right. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Finally, this week we're asking these three for their players that all should go out and sign. Any names coming through to you, Jack? I mean, you've got two sports journalists here, so you two should straight be on the uptake with all these rumours. Jack, what are you hearing on your grapevine?
Well, I've looked at Richard Kern from Wigan Wanderers. I think he scored 13 goals in 24 matches, and that's what we need, a good goal scorer. And moving on to the wings, probably Ryan Barnett from, I think it's Wrexham. I saw he's got the highest assist in League One, and he's a winger. So we need people providing the goals and scoring the goals. So those two stand out to me. Then you've also got people like Jay Stansfield from is it Birmingham, I think? Which he's banged in 10 goals for them. So
it costs 10 million though. Have you got that money to spend?
Again, I was just about to come on to the FFP situation and everything. It all depends on what the owner wants to dish out of his pocket. I mean, this time last year was getting big signings in, and now we're just kind of thinking that it's also what players want to come to Hull as well this season. I mean, we're not really appealing to players at the moment like we were last season. So yeah, it's all down to how much the owner wants to spend and how much we attract players to our club.
Mm-hmm. Is Philogene going to be available, Ben?
I think he is, by the sound of it. I mean, Villa are looking to loan him out, but I cannot see in a million years him coming back to City, especially in the predicament we're in. I mean, there's a couple.
You
there's
say
obviously
that because
a lot.
You say that because you think he'll go to a Premier League club, or
yeah,
you think higher? Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think he's been linked with Ipswich, and I know they agreed a deal initially with us, but Villa matched because they had that clause in the contract where they had a matching buyout, so they ended up getting him. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of young talent in League One. Like Jack said, it's quite contrast to last season where we were getting in the likes of Fabio Carvalho, and now we're dipping into League One. So there's a lot of talented players. I mean, everyone and their dogs after Louis Barry, that would be a dream signing. Could potentially happen because obviously we've got a decent relationship with Villa. after the Philogene situation. There's some from Reading, but I'm not too sure whether there's any truth in the so-called clause in Sellers' contract that we're not allowed to sign any Reading players in January because he left recently. I don't know if that's true. There's a lot of talented players there, but I think, like Jack said, just a striker. That Richard Kone has been banging in goals. A lot of Championship teams are after him or are rumoured to be interested. So I think he'd probably be one of the sort of top picks, I'd say.
Okay. Matty, any more names?
I think Louis Barry would be good, wouldn't he? I think he's the one top target would be good. And then I know it's Lewis Wing and Harvey Nibbs at Reading potentially as well. I think probably now midfield, I think we're pretty settled in terms of, you know, who we've got in there with Alzate and Puerta playing well. I think that that's something that's been addressed and we don't particularly need that. I still think we need a little bit of experience at the back. I was thinking about somebody like Joe Worrell, who's at Forest. He's not particularly playing at the moment, and he's a good, solid Championship player. Now you're going to hate me for this one, lads, but bear with me. I was thinking, what about Patrick Bamford? Because he's not playing. He's not playing at Leeds, is he? I know that. I know he's on massive wages, but could you get him on a short-term deal to come and play for us? He's hit and miss, but he bangs goals in at Championship level, doesn't he? I know, and I'm going to get absolutely slated for this on this probably, but I just think that type of player who's in the Championship team who can come in. And to be honest, Pedro's actually doing really well, and he's our man, isn't he, at the moment? And I think he's still on for those 10 goals we said about. But we just need somebody to support him. So hopefully, get somebody in that striking position would be good. But please put the hate in the comments about.
I can hear it coming now. I can hear people tapping around the keyboard. What is he smoking? Okay. Right. Thank you very much, you three. Enjoy the game against Doncaster. Are you all going? Yeah, you're all supporting.
Yeah, I just forgot you have to buy a ticket for this one, so I'm gonna have to go do that next week.
Unfortunately, I've got my grassroots team are playing, so I'm going out to this one of miss priorities. I'm afraid when you're the coach, these are the sacrifices you have to make.
All right, Ben, you'll be there.
Yeah, should be. Yeah.
Okay, good stuff. Right, we'll review all of that with you then, of course, next week, and then it's a big, busy month of fixtures in January. Millwall away, QPR at home, and then Sheffield United away. So there's some six pointers coming up, and then we're into the nearly the end of the season. Gosh, who'd have thought? Who'd have thought it? Right, thank you very much, of course, for staying with us and watching right the way to the end. We massively appreciate it. Do drop us a like and a subscribe if you haven't done so already. You know the drill already. We're looking to get 250 subscribers by the end of the month. That'd be really helpful if you can help us do that. Thank you so much, and see you all next week. Enjoy Doncaster.
Thank you.